All right, y'all. It's an exciting day today. We just had General Conference. Got a brand new season started. Y'all love it?
Ooh, that was so good. I feel like there was so much passion and fire in this conference. You guys noticed that?
Some good fire.
I was like, whoa.
It was a very unique feeling. Powerful, sometimes somber with everything, and sometimes just like, let's go, man.
And then
This
Elder
is
Holland
fine,
just
dude.
singing Amazing Grace to us at
Yeah.
That's
that.
one of my General Conference highlights ever, period.
That was so tender.
That was so good.
Okay, so we had that, but also another very exciting thing. TJ's got some updates for us. TJ, what happened these last, 2 weeks ago?
I'm a girl dad.
Hey,
Let's go.
Dad now,
let's
officially.
go.
Yeah, my wife Lo in beast mode. She's a superhero. That is just what happens. Like I see her and I'm like, you're a superhero. I'm like, I've seen dudes squat 1,000 pounds. I'm like, yeah, squat a baby out of you after growing it inside of you for 9 months. Like, you a wuss, bro. Like, my wife is a superhero. And shout out to all the moms out there. I don't know how y'all do it, but man. But yeah, man, she's beautiful.
Little baby
it's
Olive.
amazing. Yeah.
Such a cutie.
Yeah, she's perfect. Perfect little girl. So
TJ's going to be the most, I already know you're going to be the most protective girl dad ever.
Oh,
when boys start coming
100%.
around, it's not going
Yeah.
to be good for them.
'Cause they're going to have to mess with TJ and Titan now,
Yeah.
being the older brother.
Titan's so protective and loving with her too.
Is
So
he
cute to
already?
see.
That's
Yeah,
so
he loves
cute.
to hold her. He's like, Holden. That's what he says.
Hold
Yeah,
it.
he always wants to hold her. So cute. He's such a good big brother.
So good, so good. And sad news today, we're missing Grace.
So
Grace is off in
Grace, we
London.
miss
That's
you.
a tragedy.
We love you, Grace. We hope you're having a
Yeah.
great time. Hollis, I think you need to do her thing.
Oh, that's true. Okay, let me get ready. Welcome to This is Kingdom, a good news brand podcast. This is Hollis.
This is Talon.
This is TJ.
Nice, bro.
Hey!
So, did you practice that?
Solid.
On the way here, just driving, just
Very
practicing.
calm.
That was
Post.
clean, bro.
This week, we're starting off with the banger, y'all. We're starting off with the family-centered gospel of Jesus Christ by President Oaks. And what a tender talk.
That talk, like we were talking about it just before this, we don't think we've seen President Oaks get that emotional
I
before,
know.
or really show that vulnerable side of him like that. Like that was really tender. It's like,
Yeah,
whoa.
so tender. That one moment where he's talking about where he's crying and his grandpa comes and says,
So
"I will
tender.
be
Oh.
your father." Tissues,
Well, and it's crazy 'cause
towel,
That
mop the
happened.
ground.
That happened. What, almost 90 years ago? And
yeah, when
it's
he was
still
9
that
or
tender
7.
for him, you know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that was so good.
That was really cool too. Yeah.
But what
so
was cool
cool.
to me is, I feel like this isn't new for President Oaks to talk about families. He's been talking about families again and again. And I kind of wondered, obviously, it's looking like he's going to be the next prophet. And I'm like, he's going to talk about something different. And then he comes up and he says, no, let me talk about what I've been talking about for years. Let me talk about families. And I really just felt, man, I think God wants us to get something in our heads, and it's that families really matter. And I've been thinking about it, that I think a lot of our biggest struggles often come from family issues. And I think a lot of our greatest joys and our greatest support come from good family experiences. You know what I mean? But I just think he was trying to make it so clear that families are not part of the plan. They are central to God's plan. They are such a key aspect of this plan. And because of that, it just has got me thinking so much of that. That needs to be my top priority of building and strengthening my family as much as possible.
I really love that. I love when President Oaks was, honestly, I'll read this first. He said, the Church of Jesus Christ is sometimes known as a family-centered church. It is. Our relationship to God and the purpose of our mortal life are explained in terms of the family. And I loved how passionate and defiant he was when he said, it is. And I don't think we as a church forgot we were a family-centered church at all, but I think President Oaks was reminding us of the urgency of families and how crucial they are to the plan of salvation. Exaltation is a family matter. President Oaks repeated President Nelson and reminding us, guys, the family is central to everything we do. Is it central to everything in your life right now? And I think a lot of us heard that, started reflecting, and I think a lot of us can improve in that area. No matter what demographic or age we are, we all have things to improve on when it comes to the family.
Yeah, one of our core beliefs that's so cool in our faith is that these conference talks are inspired by God. And I think it's safe to say that the topics that we hear in conference, those are the topics that have been on God's mind lately. And I love that Jesus has been thinking a lot about families and wants us to focus on them. And there is a lot of ways to improve. And I had an experience with that just after conference happened. This quote from President Oaks, he says, "Great blessings come to families if they pray together, kneeling night and morning to offer thanks for blessings to pray over common concerns." And so I felt really called out and very inspired and excited to start trying to do this, because we do have family prayer, and usually it'll be Lo and I praying before bed, but I haven't been super great at initiating like family prayer in the morning and at night, kneeling down. And there's this moment where we're all kind of laying on the bed, hanging out. We've all been just kind of Lo mainly, but we've been resting and recovering, with Olive and hanging out. And I had this thought like, hey, let's start right now, like morning family prayer right here, right now. And I was just totally lazy with it. I was like, maybe later, start tomorrow or something. I don't know. I was just thinking about something else. And we just went about our day, and all of a sudden, like all heck just broke loose. Titan was having like a tantrum thing. And then that got me riled up, and Lo was riled up, and just later after this had happened, I was thinking back, and I was like, man, I wonder how different this morning could have gone if I would have acted on that prompting and had that family prayer, And so I'm so excited and inspired to really try to implement these prayers and to make our family more of a focus, and to bring God and to bring heaven more into our family, because we need him.
Well, and that's kind of is what we want to talk about for the rest of this episode is what does that actually look like to understand the importance of the family? What does it look like to strengthen your family? And it's kind of a tricky thing to talk about because everyone's in such a different stage with that. But I think it's important for every single one of us to ask that. In my role, in my position right now, what can I do to be a greater blessing to my current family? And what can I do to better prepare for my future family if that's the situation that you're in? But I think of teenage me. I'm like, man, I wish I would have spent more time thinking of how good of a brother am I right now? How good of a son am I right now? And I wonder if everyone's self-evaluated on that of, am I being good to this sibling? Am I being good to this sibling? Am I making their life better? Am I making my parents' life easier? Am I helping carry the burden? I think if you start asking questions like that, at least for me, I know some of the kids listening to this are angel kids, you know what I mean? But for me, I would have started seeing all these things of, oh, I could put a lot more work into that. I could put a lot more intention to do that. And the thing is, when you do that, A, it's going to bless your current family, but B, it's going to prepare you to be a better future mom or a better future dad. It's going to prepare you and help you become the person that builds strong families.
I love that. Going off your first point too, Talon, that you said earlier about just family matters being just a little more sensitive to. I feel like for me, my personal experience, like you have your problems at work, you have your problems at school, you're trying to figure out what you're trying to do in the future, but nothing tugs on the heartstrings more than family stuff, than family matters. And when I think of my personal life, of what I'm doing, it's like, okay, I feel like I'm a single adult. I have all these things I'm trying to navigate, but how am I preparing for my future family? And I just came back from Texas, this good old Texas with a bunch of teenage boys, and we're talking about preparing in our roles to be a father one day. And some of the things we struggle with, or the addictions we may have, and the things that we have problems with. Yes, you're trying to get over those for yourself. Yes, you're trying to be a better person. But have you ever thought of the person you are trying to become for your future family, for your future kids, for your future spouse, for your future people who are going to be relying on you and depending on you? Have you ever thought of the influence you can have and will have on these precious people who will one day call you father, husband, friend? And I hope all of us take a second to think about that. How are my actions influencing and affecting the man or woman I will become later in my life? And how is that affecting who I am today? Because those future people are counting on you and they need you. And I feel like God is centering President Oaks' talk about family because he sees that need more than ever today.
So something that happened and after the whole situation happened, it sounds kind of dumb, but I was wearing my strength bracelet, and I grabbed my grace bracelet because I was like, I'm gonna need some grace for this, for myself, and to let the grace of Jesus like kind of heal my heart and help me calm down and help me chill out a little bit and move forward with faith, because I started to beat myself up. And because this is gonna happen is President Oak said, this is a family-centered church, but I think sometimes we'll hear that and we'll think this is an ideal family-centered church. And I love that President Oaks like totally broke that down, and he was like, no, that's not what that is. And he opens up and he shares his own journey and his own experience. And I'm grateful that even though our families are not always going to look ideal, no matter how much we prepare, no matter how much we try to envision the type of family that we want, we can always invite the Savior and his grace to come in and to heal and to strengthen and to forgive and to help us in those moments. And so we had that experience that morning, but I also had another experience with Titan that was really tender, that I was grateful that we had, because of what happened, where we were driving home from Thanksgiving Point. Sometimes we like to go to he loves trains. And so he loved riding the train over at the Curiosity, or no, at the farms, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the farm thing, and they got a train there. But we were driving back, and it's so funny because he was saying that his knee was hurting. And so I turned around and put my hand back there on his knee, while I'm driving, but I'm like, I don't know if this will be a long-term thing, because my arm's getting tired, and I don't even know if it's legal to be all, turn around. And anyway, but the song came on song started playing on the car, a song that Talon was bullying me just a little bit about earlier. But I've been rocking with that Mamma Mia playlist a little bit lately, okay? And that song Slipping Through My Fingers came on, and that was playing, and I was holding Titan's knee, and we were laughing and smiling, and it just made me so grateful that we have a God who will help us and give us grace to turn beauty to ashes, especially in our families, and especially when there's difficult things, and we need his help to help it become something beautiful.
I love that.
Now it sounds tender with the story behind it, TJ. I'll still bully you, but that's tender. I'm happy for you, bro. But I've been thinking so much of practical things too, of things I wish I would have done better as a teenager, even as a young adult. I think one of the worst things that you can bring into family is laziness, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because to be in a family, you got to work hard. You got to work hard to provide. You got to work hard to add, to serve, to help the house be a good place. And teenage me, I'm like, man, like don't be lazy. Like add value to your home. Get up, get doing stuff, get cleaning, get helping your mom, get working. Don't just sit around. I also think of phones. I think phones and President Oaks hits on that.
Yeah.
Like phones aren't going to help your family if they're distracting you from being present. Like get used to being present with your people. Create spaces that is like, I'm actually not going to have my phone at the kitchen table. I'm not going to have it when I'm bonding with my siblings. I'm going to have times that I'm completely locked in on my people. Like I think of these really practical things. I'm thinking of something that Dre told me too that I love. In English, we say, we use the term homemaker. In Spanish, it's ama de casa, which means lover of the home. And Dre was saying that to me, like, I want to be someone that loves the home and creates a special place in the home and like loves what happens there and is intentional about the space that they create. And I'm like, man, are you intentional about the space that you create in your home? In the way that you keep things clean and organized, in the way that you set things up, like create a space there that's meant for bonding. As you develop those habits now in your youth and as a young adult, then when you step into marriage, when you step into having kids, you're already going to have it in you to create a space where you're not lazy, you're not distracted by phone, and your home is a special place. It's a place that people want to be because you put your heart and you put your intention to it. And these are they're little habits that I think if you stack them up, that's what helps create really strong families. Obviously, on top of what TJ, President Oaks are saying of bring God into, I think that's the biggest thing. But it's little habits now that if you'll create them, will set you up to succeed in the future.
Well, it was crazy where he was making me think about the kids' future like so much, because I've been thinking a lot about like what kind of sports we want to put Titan in, what kind of activities and this and that. But I do see a lot of families where it's like go, 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 and President Oaks makes that emphasis of like, don't have the home just be kind of a boarding house where they just come and sleep and eat and then they're back out there, but make it a place where we can be present, that they look forward to coming to. And so I love that you're bringing up these habits, Talon, and one that I really want to do better and want to, that I do believe will make the home our home a better place, is like President Oak said, turning off the technology in a way that will help turn on the family and the energy and the happiness and the togetherness. That's something practical that I really want to do better.
I love that. And I just love that he's reminding us this is a family-centric church. And one quick little note to all our people out there who come from less than ideal family circumstances, like President Oaks. President Oaks lost his dad when he was really young, and he had a single mom who was raising all of these kids. Know that no matter what your family dynamic, your family circumstance is, or where you may come from, know that the family is the most important thing, and God can create meaning out of any family circumstance. He will create that connection, He will create that warmth, and He will preside in a house that follows Him.
I have a family here on earth. They are so good to me. I want to share my life with them through all eternity. Families can be together forever through Heavenly Father's plan. I always want to be with my own family, and the Lord has shown me how I can. The Lord has shown me how I can.
We're excited to hear about your stories and your thoughts about conference. Please let us know in the comments in this video, but we'll see you next week.